Welcome to another edition of Self-Defense Across America. Okay, we're going to start in Houston, Texas, because Houston, Texas never fails us when it comes to self-defense. We got an adult male victim that was killed and a female victim that was unharmed and arrested, and then our suspect was also an adult male and he was injured and arrested. 2 people are facing charges after a shootout in Midtown parking lot Sunday morning. 1 man died at the scene, another was taken to the hospital for treatment. HPD said one of the patrol officers was in the area around 2:11 a.m. when they heard gunshots and rushed over to the parking lot. He noticed a large crowd here in the parking lot. Once they came in here, that's when they were flagged down and observed a male dead lying in the parking lot. Diaz said a group was leaving a nearby nightclub across the street to the parking lot when they got into an argument with another group. They believed someone from the other group began shooting at them and hit a man in his 30s who died at the scene. Police said a woman related to the victim fired back and hit the shooter, who was taken to the hospital in a private vehicle. His condition is currently unknown. Although his exact condition is unknown, investigators believe the alleged shooter's injuries are pretty serious. Let's see. HPD said the man receiving treatment at the hospital will face a murder charge. The woman who fired back at him will be charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. At this time, they believe there's no reason to look for other suspects. So, this is Houston, Texas. This isn't the Texas we all know and love. This is Houston, Texas. And this woman is with a guy who gets shot and killed by another guy, and she shoots back, hits the guy, and she is facing aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charges. Maybe we don't have the whole story here, but this looks like clear self-defense. If they're firing at her or the guy she's with and she fires back, that's unless we're missing a part of the story, that's clear self-defense. All right, so let's go to Cape Coral, Florida, where we have an adult victim who was unharmed and a 57-year-old man, Glenn Ginocchio, who is apparently a neighbor. He was injured and arrested. A Cape Coral man was arrested after shots were fired between neighbors during a dispute over loud music on Sunday night. According to the Cape Coral Police Department, officers responding around 8:14 p.m. to the shooting. Police first arrived at the home where homeowner Glenn Ginocchio, 57, called 911 saying he had been shot in the arm by his neighbor. Ginocchio told police he had gone to the neighbor's home to tell them to stop playing music so loud. He said that while he was there, his neighbor shot at him and he fled and came back home. Ginocchio had a gunshot wound in the right forearm and was treated by EMS. Officers found a gun and a large amount of blood in his home. Police went to the neighbor's home and found several guns and blood on the lanai by the pool. There were bullet holes in the screen door and a concrete post. Multiple shell casings and used rounds of ammunition were found around the home. The neighbors told police they were inside when they heard a loud noise outside by the pool and went to check it out. Once outside, they saw their neighbor Ginocchio on the lanai with a gun yelling about loud music. According to CCPD, one of the neighbors went to get their gun and returned to see Ginocchio shoot at the other neighbor. The armed neighbor fired multiple shots back at Ginocchio as he ran away. The neighbor told police that surveillance cameras on the lanai would show what happened. Based on their investigation, Ginocchio was arrested and charged with armed burglary, aggravated assault, 2 counts, and improper exhibition of a firearm. So I just did a story, and it's probably been a couple months now, I think it was in July, of another incident where somebody went and asked people to turn down the music. They were in a car, and a vet in his wheelchair had gone over. He was walking his dog, and he had asked them to turn it down, and they ended up running him over, and he ended up shooting him. And this is the whole thing with this loud music. I don't know. Some people say that you should mind your own business, but depending on what time of day it was, 8:14 p.m. So I guess I don't know. That's not too late yet. I probably personally wouldn't ask anybody to turn their music down unless it was super loud after maybe 10 or 11. But I guess this guy, he's 57. He might have wanted to go to bed early. I don't know. But the asking people to turn the music down, there's been too many instances where that's something that turns wrong really fast lately this summer. All right, now we're going to go to Portland, Oregon, and this one looks like it happened at a 7-Eleven. We have an adult male victim who was injured and an adult male suspect who was unharmed. Police say several men exchanged gunfire outside a Southeast Portland 7-Eleven store early Saturday morning. The store is near Southeast Grand Avenue and Taylor Street, and the shooting happened around 2 a.m. When officers arrived, they say they found a lot of blood and bullet casings, but the victim had already left, going to the hospital on his own. Police believe the man was in the parking lot when several suspects approached him and exchanged words. Then they started shooting at him. The victim says he was armed and returned fire. Police say the suspects took off, and it's unknown if any of them were hurt. So here's an example of if this guy did not have a gun on him, and he exchanged words with these guys and they start shooting at him. If he did not have a gun on him that he pulled out that scared them away and started firing back at them, this would be a totally different story right now, because this guy likely would not have survived this incident. And, they want to take away your guns. This is Portland, Oregon, and Portland's gone downhill fast. And anybody that pays any attention to what happens on the West Coast knows Portland was once a very nice city, and it's just not anymore. And that guy's lucky that he had a firearm on him. All right, let's go to Charlotte, North Carolina, where we have an adult victim that was unharmed. And our suspect, Kashaune Lavonne Teal, is 24 years old, and he was killed in this incident. A private security guard at Charlotte's Transit Center shot and killed a man at about 12:30 a.m. Friday, according to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Uniformed security guards who work for Allied Universal had an encounter with someone under a light rail bridge on 4th Street. One Allied security employee perceived the deadly threat, discharged their firearms, striking the suspect. Police identified the man as 24-year-old Kashaune Lavonne Teal. Police and medic quickly arrived, CMPD said, but Teal was pronounced dead at the scene. Detectives are investigating the shooting. Police did not say whether anyone was arrested. So this transit center has security guards that are armed at it, which leads you to believe it's not a very safe transit center, because usually if I see a transit center and there's cops nearby, it's because there's a lot of stuff that goes on there, and it's not a place where you really want to get on a light rail and ride it. But we know that public transportation is extremely dangerous, and this is just an example of it. We don't really have a whole ton of information on this, but, I don't even know if this is really considered self-defense because it's an armed security guard, but that's what happened, and luckily he was armed, because who knows what could have happened there. So we got a young adult male between 12 and 17 years old. This is Glendale, Arizona. Young adult male, and this was a home invasion. And our suspect is 33-year-old Juan Saavedra, and he was injured in the ordeal. A man is hurt after he was shot by a teenager while trying to break into a home in Phoenix late Friday night. Phoenix police said that they were called to the area just after 10 p.m. for the report of a fight. When officers arrived, they found a man had been shot. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police learned the man who was shot was trying to force his way into a home he did not live in and had no connection to. A woman and a teenage boy who lived in the home confronted the man as he was trying to force his way in. That's when the teen reportedly shot the suspect. The teen told police he shot the man in self-defense, and police say self-defense is consistent with the witness and evidence at the scene. The man who is allegedly breaking into the home is facing charges, but it is not clear what those charges are. So when I first read that it was a teenager that was the victim and the shooter, I did not expect it to be something like this. But this, these this woman's probably a single mom with this kid, and they have a gun in the house to protect them, or the kid has a gun for other reasons. But this guy breaks in, and the police are saying that he's facing charges, but not clear what those charges are. He's not going to get it. There's not going to be any charges. I mean, they might charge him with something, but the guy breaking in, he's not going to. I mean, he's not going to see any jail time or nothing. I mean, Phoenix, again, you want to think these places are like in a red state, kind of a red state, Arizona, and it's, I don't know, they're not going to face any charges. The kid will be out. Whoever broke into the house, he's going to be out and doing the same thing again next week. So, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, we got a 30-year-old adult victim that was unharmed and arrested, and our suspect was 13 years old, and it was a male, injured and arrested, and a second suspect, 17-year-old, he was unharmed and arrested. Milwaukee police say a 13-year-old is recovering in the hospital for gunshot wounds after he and a 17-year-old tried to rob someone. Police arrested a 30-year-old in connection to the related shooting. According to the police, the shooting happened around 11:20 Friday night near 36th Street and Chambers Street. Police did not say where the attempted robbery happened. They say charges are currently pending review by the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. So this is the second one we've had where our victim has been arrested. And if the story is being told right by this news source, these two teenagers, they were robbing this person, and this person shot them. And that, I mean, again, should be considered self-defense. But the person that was being robbed, he is facing charges as well. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's move on to Antioch, Tennessee, where we have an adult male who was unharmed. That's our victim. And we have an adult male suspect who was killed. And let's see, Nashville, Tennessee. Metro Nashville police are investigating a man's self-defense claim after a fatal shooting in Antioch on Friday afternoon. Police say two men were following a reportedly stolen white pickup truck on Goodwin Road when the driver stopped and was armed with a machete. That's when one of the men following shot and killed him. Homicide investigators are working the scene, and currently, as they work to determine the happenings of the shooting, the call of the shooting on Goodwin Road came in about 3:15 p.m. No other information is available at this time. So this one happened in the middle of the day. And this thing with these guys with machetes, it seems like such an odd weapon for people to have. But if you read enough of these incidents of things that happen, you'll see machetes occur in a lot of them. Usually among people that have some type of mental illness, generally, are the ones that you see that are carrying these machetes, and they're just like, sometimes you'll see stories where they're just standing like in their front yard swinging this machete around, and weird stuff like that, or they'll be at the grocery store parking lot swinging one around. But machetes are like, I don't know, it's like a common weapon in a way right now. And that guy was killed because of it. Well, and because he stole some guy's truck. All right, let's go to Magnolia, Texas, at the Audubon subdivision. We have an adult male who was unharmed. That's our victim. And a neighbor who was an adult male that was killed. And a portion of a neighborhood off FM 1488 in the Magnolia area is being closed off to residents as deputies look into a shooting that left one person dead. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office said it was responding at 11:31 a.m., so this one happened during the day, to the 40,000 block of GoldenEye Place in the Audubon subdivision, where deputies were informed of shots fired. A caller told dispatch a neighbor that he knew to have mental health issues approached him in his front yard. This resulted in an altercation where the homeowner shot the neighbor, who was pronounced dead at the scene. Deputies assured that this is an isolated incident since both parties knew each other and there is no threat to the public. They did warn of disruptions for people that live on the block. So this guy knew that his neighbor had mental health issues. And a lot of this stuff, I know they always talk about this, oh, it was mental health issues, it's mental health issues. And nobody seems to really want to do anything about this. They blame it on it all the time. They blame mental health. They blame mental health, but nobody seems to want to do anything about it. And if anyone was serious about this, they blame guns and they blame mental health. Those are the two things. And if anyone was serious about this, they would do something to fix some of these mental health problems that people have. There are people that get arrested for serious crimes. They go and they're found, unfit to stand trial. And then they go to some, medical place or something for a couple months, and then they release them because they're mentally ill. And they don't even face any like jail time for when they do really bad things, and they just get released after a very short period of time being in this place. Like a couple months in some medical place is going to make them that much better that they're now safe to be out on the streets and don't have to pay for what they did while they were mentally ill. Mental health issues, if our country fixed that, that would take care of a lot of these like random shootings and stuff. It probably wouldn't fix a lot of the stuff that happens in bad areas, but it would fix a lot of the rest of the stuff that happens, because that's really what most of this stuff is, the root cause of a lot of this stuff.